Hey folks, I thought I'd show you my maple syrup operation today. I'll tell you how that works in a minute, but first let me show you where the sap collection happens. I'm using tubes and collectors to bring it all into a 5-gallon bucket now. And I get 20 to 30 gallons a day from about 2 dozen taps. I have some walnut taps too. So it's running pretty good right now. It's late afternoon. So I take those buckets up here on the porch and dump them into these big barrels. Get up on this platform with the big funnel and dump them into the big barrel. And the reason it's up on a platform is so I can have a good siphon going off of there from this hose, where it runs down through the control valve into the preheater, which goes around the stack. I adjust the control valve to try and get it almost boiling coming out of the pipe there. I can see it's starting to boil, so I have to increase the flow a little bit, get a little more sap going in there. So I'll just turn this a little tiny bit and open that up. Turn that flow up and keep it from getting vapor lock. And I want to keep the sap in the evaporator as low as possible so I can keep a good boil going. And you just have to shove wood in the barrel stove constantly. Keep it going good. I got 60 gallons of sap sitting there that I need to boil off, so we got to keep this thing cranking. Looks like we've got to turn the flow up a little more. But yeah, it takes all day. I'll get to about 40 gallons in an 8-hour day, probably 8-hour boil. And then we'll end up with a gallon or two of concentrated sap that'll take off the evaporator, take it inside and finish it into a gallon of syrup. That's how it goes. It's a great time of year to pick up all the sticks in the yard, which there's a ton of this year. The ones I can't break up, I got my little electric chainsaw that I'm chopping them up there with.